Okay, so I was at committee all morning. I'm also covering the Foreign Interference Committee or commission, and the Green Slush Fund is also sitting right now. The ethics, I think it's ethics, examining that, and environment is examining what unfolded in Jasper National Park, end of July, beginning of August, a fire that started within the park boundaries, which is important to note, spread into the town site of Jasper, doing $2 billion worth of damage to assets, burning down 1/3 of the town, primarily the residential area, and damaging a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there have been serious allegations, which I don't think are allegations, of mismanagement. First of all, the failure to remove the fuel load from the forest or in and around Jasper town site. Much of the park was damaged by the mountain pine beetle. It became so dangerous that the fire load, you could actually, they didn't even want to remove the fuel load because mechanically removing it could have started a fire. So they wanted to do prescribed burns, but Parks Canada officials, we have the emails now, didn't want to do prescribed burns because of the political optics of it. So they left the fuel load in the forest and the town burned. Now it gets worse. An Alberta company, Arctic Fire Safety, we heard about them, not by name though, last week at committee. Blaine Calkins, Conservative MP, used to be a park warden in Jasper, so he knows that of which he speaks. He had emails from Arctic Fire Safety, he didn't name the company, saying we had a company that was on contract by the Alberta government, staged in Hinton just up the road, ready to come in. Well, the CEO of Arctic Fire Safety is testifying at committee today, Chris Livram, and he said he had 50 firefighters, 20 fire trucks staged in Hinton. He was hired by an insurance company and a resort to come into the town. He had already liaised with Parks Canada to come in. And he said, basically, I've got guys to come in and deal with the resort property that we need to protect, but we've got all these extra guys staged and we want to come in to help. They were denied entry multiple times. Now, I should note, these are not just a ragtag bunch of guys. These are fully certified, fully equipped, well-trained wildland firefighters. They're also trained in structural firefighting. They have better equipment than municipal departments, and they are routinely on contract by the provincial government. He was denied entry multiple times. Gets worse. He gets into the town. They are denied access to water to fight the fires. Then they are told you will be forcibly removed, maybe even arrested if you try to fight the fires in the town. They described the scene as chaotic. Then it's uncovered that Parks Canada replaced all the fire hydrants in Jasper National Park with fire hydrants that have a fitting that none of the municipal departments in Alberta or British Columbia can hook up to. They only had 7 adapters in the town for the outside fire trucks that were not part of the Jasper Fire Department to hook up to, meaning that they couldn't even fight the fire. All these outside departments were coming in. They couldn't fight the fire. The outside fire departments and fire companies, which we have many in Alberta because they're often hired by the oil companies, they couldn't hook up. And then they're denied access to the water. They were told, we can only get water from Pyramid Lake. You can't take it from any of the rivers. They were told to stand down and watch buildings burn. Let's show the first one that he said it was not until, basically he said, you fight fires in advance of the town. You don't let them hit the town and then deal with the fighting structural fires. He said, it was not until reports of the buildings were on fire that fire crews were deployed to save the Jasper town site. Let's show that one.
Mr. Chairperson and committee members, the statement that I provide today will provide a shocking example of how mismanaged the Jasper Fire was by Parks Canada and should warrant a deeper investigation into this agency's fire management and overall role as guardians of Canada's most important and cultural assets. On the evening of Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, Arctic Fire Safety Services was contacted by the Alberta Emergency Management Agency to deploy 3 Type 3 fire engines and 11 firefighters to Jasper National Park. The request was later changed to 2 Type 3 engines to Jasper and 1 to another fire. The crews traveled up from Eckville through Highway 93 to Jasper, as well as some crews came in from Fort McMurray through Highway 16. We were informed that the crew were to bring tents and sleeping bags because there were no hotel rooms available in Jasper. The crew had to sleep along the Jasper fire for 2 nights. On the night of July 24th, based on the verbal report of my crew, numerous issues occurred which affected the ability of firefighters to protect Jasper. There was a backburn which was underway by Parks Canada. The status of the backburn did not appear to be communicated to the structure protection specialist who was in Jasper from the ignition team with Parks Canada. All fire crews were sitting at the Jasper Fire Hall and were not at their pre-planned positions when the main fire entered Jasper because they believed the fire behavior observed was out of the backburn. It was not until reports of the building were on fire that fire crews deployed to save the town site. The scene was described as extremely chaotic.
You know what, Sheila? It's what I find profound about that testimony. It's easy for you and I as commentators to editorialize, but when you see someone part of the firefighting establishment using words like mismanagement, right?
Chaotic.
There was another one I forgot to scribble down, maybe scandalous. I don't know if he went that far. This was an absolute travesty.
Yeah, he was asked what it was like for his fire crews who were in the town. They were in the town. They were told you can only fight at the place that you are allowed to fight at, and that was the insurance company was defending a resort. He had guys to help in the town site. He said his guys were forced to stand there as Petro-Canada at the end of town basically burned down, blew up, and as fire took most, if not all, of the trailer park there where a lot of people live. He said they were demoralized by what they saw, but his teams were threatened with arrest if they did anything.
And Sheila, what is the deal with that? Like to the south of us, the hurricane-ravaged states, FEMA is moving at a pace that might rival molasses moving uphill in wintertime. And there are volunteers who say they want to go out. There's calls for the militia to go out and help with the cleanup because there's another big hurricane, I understand, en route, and they haven't even begun to clean up yet. And FEMA is talking about the exact same thing you just said here. You will be put under arrest. Oh, and I was listening to some committee hearings there. FEMA is especially concerned, at least the mouthpiece, the childless cat lady, about irregular migrants who are transgender women. They are the ones most at risk in a natural disaster. I'm not making this up, Sheila.
Got a lot of transgender women coming up from Haiti. Is that what they would have us believe? What makes this interesting is this was completely under the purview of the federal government in Alberta. The fire started within the park. The federal government managed the park. They managed the fire response. Alberta was throwing everything they could at this. They were trying to help. Alberta companies who have expertise in defending infrastructure in our forested communities and highly flammable infrastructure, might I add, oil and gas sites, they were staged there. This guy, Chris Livum, testified that because they were denied water, it cost them $60,000 to bring water in water trucks from outside. He had 2 of the largest fire trucks in Alberta staged, and they were basically told to go away. Now, I think, and he sort of alluded to the word leakage. He didn't want it. He says it sounds like, and I'm reading into what he was saying when he said leakage. Sounds like he thinks the Parks Canada didn't want it to get out that no one could hook to these fire hydrants in town.
What if governments are trying to reinvent the wheel when the greatest teacher of all times has already laid out the perfect blueprint for a constitution for a kingdom of love, faith, and freedom? Introducing the Kingdom of Heaven Freedom Passport. This special edition Freedom Passport captures the foundational truths of love, ethics, and freedom for all. It's a powerful reminder of Jesus' call to love one another and to be part of something bigger that you can carry with you every day. Join the movement, share the truth, and spread the love with your family and friends. Get your Kingdom of Heaven Freedom Passport at freedompassport.ca. And right now, all orders in North America come with free shipping and a free downloadable song with every purchase.